Assalamu alaikum, dear students, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to introduce myself to you due to the coronavirus pandemic and other circumstances that happening before. I'm Bahauddin Kadhim, your teacher in grammar subject for evening study. Today we will talk about morphemes in general and the types of morphemes. This is very important subject, and if you understand the morpheme, you will understand the chapters that come after this one. Let's start with morphemes. A morpheme is a short segment of language that meets three criteria. A morpheme is a short segment of language that meets three criteria. What's the meaning of segment? Segment means a piece or a part of language that meets three criteria. The first criterion, it is a word or a part of word that has meaning. It should be or it should have meaning. Any morpheme should have meaning, part of word that has meaning. The second one, it cannot be divided into smaller, meaningful parts without violation of its meaning. It cannot be divided into smaller, meaningful parts without violation. Here mean breaking, without breaking its meaning. If you break it, you will not have meaningful part or meaningful word, or without meaningless reminders. The third criterion, it recurs. It means it comes in different differing verbal environments. It comes in different verbal environments with a relatively stable meaning. It means here it can come in different verbal environments. For example, we can see this morpheme in different sentences or different parts of speech. For example, here, let's examine those criteria by using the word straight to see whether straight will be restricted to those three criteria or not. Straight is a word, and this word has meaning. This is obvious. Straight has meaning. It cannot be divided without violation of meaning. We can't divide straight into two words or three words without breaking meaning. For example, we can't say just and ate only, because we will break the meaning of the word straight. The third criterion, it recurs. It means it comes in such environments as straightage. It means like the ruler, a kind of ruler here, straightage. It comes in different environments. It comes in different words. Straightage and straighten, a verb straighten, and a straight line, a noun. So we can see this word in different environments or in different verbal environments. We have also, this is the general idea of morpheme and the criteria of morpheme. Let's turn to the free and bound of morphemes, namely the types of morphemes. We have two types of morphemes, free and bound morpheme. The first one, a free morpheme, is the noun that can be uttered alone with meaning. It is what? The one that can be uttered alone. So we can utter the morpheme alone with meaning. For instance, in reply to what are you going to do now? If someone asks us, what are you going to do now? if you answer just eat, here eat, the one in red, is a morpheme, or it is a free morpheme. This is a free morpheme, sorry, here's a mistake. This is a free morpheme. So what is the free morpheme? A free morpheme, it's a word that can be uttered alone with meaning. Word can be uttered alone with meaning. The second one, a bound morpheme. A bound morpheme, unlike the free morpheme, cannot be uttered alone with meaning. We can't say it alone with meaning. It will be meaningless. So it can be attached to other form to complete the meaning. For example, it is always annexed. Annexed means take. It always takes. Annexed means takes. Takes one or more morphemes to form a word. Here we have also example. Speaker. Those in red are what? Are bound morphemes. We have here er in the word speaker. Er here is a bound morpheme. It cannot uttered alone. It will be meaningless. So it is attached with the word speak. Also undo. The un here, it cannot be uttered alone with meaning. So it is attached to do, undo. And also kingdom, dom or dom, it can't uttered alone with meaning. So here we have speaker, undo, kingdom. The one in reds are what? Bound morpheme. So this is the difference between the free morpheme and bound morpheme. The free morpheme, it can be uttered alone with meaning, whereas the bound morpheme, it cannot be uttered alone with meaning. So it could be attached, or it should be attached to other morpheme. Here we have another classification of morphemes, puts them into two classes, bases and affixes. This is another classification of morpheme. We have what? Two classes, bases and affixes. A base morpheme. Let's see what a base morpheme is. Is the part of a word that has the principal meaning. The principal means the main meaning. So a base morpheme is the part of a word that has the principal meaning, the main meaning. For example, lovable and annoyance. Love and annoy are bases. Love here and base, and those two words are bases. Lovable and annoyance, we have those two words. Love is the base of lovable, and annoy is the base of annoyance. Bases are very numerous, and most of them in English are free morphemes. Here it's said that bases in general what? Free morphemes in general. But there is some exceptions. For example, but some are bound. Some of them, just a little of them, are bound, like sent, S-E-N-T, in consent, descent, and assent. Those three words. S-E-N-T here is what? Is a bound morpheme, not a free morpheme. Just those and a few words, or three, not three, few words. A word may contain one base and several affixes. Sometimes you will find a word that has one base and several affixes. May contain one base and several affixes. This is a base morpheme. Let's take the second classification, an affix. What's the meaning of an affix? An affix is a bound morpheme. is a bound morpheme, so it is not free morpheme. It's a bound morpheme that occurs before or within or after. Before, be careful, before, within, or after a base. There are three kinds of affixes. We have three kinds of affixes. Prefixes, when it comes at the beginning. Infixes, when it comes in the middle of a word. And suffixes, when it comes at the end of a word. Prefixes, infixes, and suffixes. Let's start with the first one, prefixes. Prefixes are those bound morphemes. They are bound morphemes that occur before a base. It comes before a base, as in those three words. I am here is what prefixes. Import, prefix, the same word. Prefixes here is what we can say that this word is a bound morpheme and it's a kind of affixes. Prefix here, pre, is what? Is a bound morpheme. And is it what? Is regarded as a prefix. Reconsider also the re here is prefixes because it comes at the beginning of a word. This is prefixes. The second one, infixes. Infixes are bound morphemes that have been inserted within a word. Infixes in the middle, infixes in general come in the middle of a word, within a word. Not before or after, within, in the middle of a word. Infixes in English are most commonly replacements, not additions. Infixes in general in English language are most commonly replacement, not additions. They occur in three positions. They occur in noun plural. For example, in goose, geese. The goose is a kind of duck, like Morton. If you like Neil's cartoon, it is a goose. The plural is geese. Here the double E is what? Infixes. It comes in the middle of a word. In the past tense also, we have what? We have the present choose, and here the past chose. We have O. The letter O here is infixes. And past participle, what? Chosen. Chosen also here the O is infixes because because it comes in the middle of a word. The third type, suffixes. It comes at the end of a word. Are bound morphemes also that occur after a base. Comes after a base, like dreamed. Here the ed letter is what? Is an suffix. Also in the word shrinkage, the age here is regarded as a suffix. Suffixes may pile up to the number of 3 or 4. It means that suffixes may, for example, occur or comes together. Maybe they come 4 suffixes together. Suffixes may come together more than 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4, like the word normalizers. Normalizers. Here this word has 4 suffixes. The al, this is the first suffix, the iz, the second suffix, and the er here the third suffix, and the last one the s, it is the fourth suffix. So the word normalizers has 4 suffixes, whereas prefixes are commonly single. Prefixes are commonly single, but suffixes in general is not single. You can find a word that has 3, 2, 4 suffixes. Okay. Thanks for watching. This is the first part of chapter 8, namely morphemes, and I will upload the next parts in the next week, inshallah. Thanks for listening and good luck. في أمان الله.